This is our play of the week analysis.
So the first question on this play, do we have a centerline fault on this play? So let's look at the centerline rules or the penetration under the net rules with regards to FIVB volleyball. So for FIVB volleyball, it is permitted to penetrate into the opponent's space under net, provided that this does not interfere with the opponent's play. And of course, this goes without saying, does not cause any safety or injury hazards for the opponent. To touch the opponent's court with a foot or feet is permitted, provided that some part of the penetrating foot or feet remain in contact with or directly above the center line, and that this action does not interfere with the opponent's play. This rule is pretty identical to the rule sets of USA V volleyball and the NCAA volleyball. There are some slight differences with National Federation High School Volleyball as of this moment. It does not necessarily include the interference with the opponent's play with regards to penetrating the opponent's space under the net within the playing court. The second question we have about this play, do we also have a net fault on this play? So let's look at the FIVB rules with regards to potential net faults or net faults and see if there are any differences or similarities to other rule sets. So contact with the net by a player between the antenna during the action of playing the ball is a fault. The action of playing the ball includes, among others, takeoff, hit, or attempt, and landing safety, ready for a new action. Players may touch the post, ropes, or any other object outside the antenna, including the net itself, provided that it does not interfere with the play. When the ball is driven into the net, causing it to touch an opponent, no fault is committed. We're talking about players that have made actions, whether it's attacking or blocking, who are in the air. We usually like to refer to the actions of playing the ball with the actual jump, the landing, and the turning and transitioning away from the net being all of one action. So let's see what happens in this play and analyze this play and see if we also have a net fault on this play. So our attacker jumps to attack the ball. Upon completing the attack action, she lands, moves forward, and contacts the net while trying to turn and transition away from the net. In NFHS, we clearly have a net fault. Remember, in NFHS, the centerline fault rules only talk about the hand and the foot inside the playing court. It does not consider anything as far as the safety of the opponents or interference with the opponents. So in NFHS, this is clearly a centerline fault. So in NCAA play, if we consider the jump to attack, the attacking of the ball, the landing, and the turning to transition away from the net in hopes of not contacting the net when action, this is a net fault by our attacker. I'll be the first to admit that this is very, very close to being a centerline fault. But to err on the side of caution here, our attacker does not interfere with the play of the opponents who have already blocked the ball, and she does not present a safety or injury hazard. So, erring on the side of caution, I would say no to a centerline fault for NCAA play. In USAV, if we consider this entire sequence one action by our attacker, from the jumping up to attack the ball, to the landing, to the turn to transition, in order to avoid the net, we should consider this a net fault. Again, as we discussed with NCAA, this is very, very close. But our attacker has not interfered with the actions of the opponents who have already blocked the volleyball, and the volleyball is currently still with the old offense following the block touch, and she has not created a safety hazard or injury risk for the opponents. So we're going to go with the optimistic but cautious no with regards to a centerline fault on this play. If all the action by our attacker is considered one, then this will be a net fault for FIVB. Again, I would love to have a great discussion with the second referee regarding the actions of this attacker in this particular play. With regards to a centerline fault, we're going with the optimistic but cautious no. The opponents had an opportunity for the block touch. The volleyball is now with the old offense. The attacker presented no safety or injury hazard to the opponents, and she did not interfere with their play.
This is our play of the week analysis.